Curiosity is a good thing. Hopefully it will be contagious, right? Let's bring our feet together, top of the mat. Look how many people come in. Like 15 minutes ago, I did a video that like everything was set up, music on, but there was nobody here. And then I did another one 15 minutes later going, look, now there's people. So funny. What happens? What a shift can happen, right? In just a few moments. So feet together, standing at the top of the mat as if to say, I am here and I am ready. That first moment where everything else stops and the yoga begins. That is actually the moment that Patanjali speaks about in the very first teaching, in the very first sutra of his works, the 4 books called the Yoga Sutras. And the very first teaching is Atta Yoga Anusasanam. Yoga begins now, or now the exposition of yoga. But the key is now, the word now. The very first word of the very first teaching, we could spend a lifetime just trying to achieve that. And it goes on 4 books long on how we can befriend the mind and how we have to treat the body and all of our layers of consciousness and blah, 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 all of the other things. Could you imagine if even just for this hour we could say with that concept of now, this moment, right now, where everything else stopped and your yoga begins. And I promise you at some point your mind is going to wander. I know, mine does. You're going to have some weird thought about something in your day or about your body or about something, and then you got to pull yourself back. And that moment when you come back to your breath and you come back to feeling your feet on the mat and you're paying attention to the practice, brings you right back to now. Brings you right back to that very first teaching, that very first word, that big, lofty concept of presence. So right now, see if you can be even more fully in this moment. Feel the texture of the mat beneath your feet. Feel the humidity on your skin. Feel the sweat starting to build, the moisture on the surface. Feel your hair frizzing or curling, whatever. I don't know what's happening to you, but you know. Feel your breath moving from outside you to inside you and then back outside you again. These are the things that bring you into present time. We have been gifted 5 senses that take in all of that information and allow us to feel and to notice. And so as we move through the practice today, that is my ask, that we notice, that we pay attention, and that we stay in this present moment. Start to breathe a little bit more purposefully. And then we're going to layer the movement onto that breath. So on your next inhale, let your arms rise up over your head. And then on your exhale, fold over. And then lift halfway on the inhale. Flatten your back. Lengthen the chest out. And then exhale, fold your head down. As you inhale, please rise all the way up. Lift the head and chest, reach and sweep the arms up high. Maybe even touch the palms together and then pull them to your heart. Just want to get a little more volume on the music. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale and fold. Lift halfway, inhale. Let's go to plank pose. Step both feet back. Organize your body. Take another breath. And then lower yourself down slowly onto the belly. See if you can do that with good form, like you're lowering, doing half of a push-up. Inhale into Cobra. It's the first one. It's a gentle back bend. But bending our spine backwards, think about that. Like, can you be gentle with it? Can you try to elongate so there's no compression? Root the hips, lift the heart, expand the shoulders. Exhale, release. Tuck your toes, pull in your belly, and rise up and back into downward facing dog. Your hips go high, your head goes low, and your breath is running free. That's it. Make sure your fingers are spread and you have really good handprints so your arms feel strong. We don't really want to soften the elbows because there could be a collapse there. We want to push back and get the pose more into our feet and our legs. Go ahead and take one more breath. And then look forward. Let's walk our feet up to the top of the mat. Bring them together. And then lift halfway. Inhale. Fold on the exhale. With a flat back, which means lift your head and chest. Hinge at the hips and rise up. And then exhale. Arms up to the sides. Inhale, arms reach. I like how you're moving today. Exhale, forward fold. Lift halfway on the in-breath. We go to plank and lower on the exhalation. Go ahead, lower down on the same exhale. Breathing into the cobra. And then breathing out as you go to down dog, creating a little bit more of a fluidity and a flow. Breathing in and breathing out. Noticing all of the things. There is a point in the teachings of yoga where we learn to sort of quiet the senses, move away from the stimulus. But that's as you move into the meditation practice. Here, while we're in the asana, while we're working on the pranayama, they are so useful. We don't want to detach or move away from our senses. We want to use them to keep us in present time. Take one more breath. And as you exhale, look forward. Let's walk our feet up to the top of the mat. Lift halfway on the in-breath. Fold deeply on the out-breath. Rise with a flat back on the in-breath. And bring your hands to the heart on the out-breath. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Let's stay this time. Grab the ankles and do a little work on the hamstrings. Let's bend the right knee, but keep the left leg straight. See if you can get a little more length in the back of that left leg. And then switch to the other side. We soften the left, we straighten the right. Both feet stay down. So we don't want to lift the heel. We want to actually move the hips. We want to stay stable. And then soften both knees. On your inhale, come to chair pose, which is bending both knees, sweeping the arms up, the hips drop back. We don't want to bend so that the knees go forward to the toes. We actually want to sit back to the heels, to the hips. Takes a little more strength to do it that way, but it will also develop more strength as you do it. So try again, sit back just a little bit more, and then push through both feet, and let's come all the way up. Stretch long and tall at the top, and then let your arms go. By your sides or to prayer, whatever is your preference. Inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Exhale, forward fold. Lift halfway. Inhale. Let's go to plank pose. We'll stay in plank for just a moment. Try to keep the gaze toward the front of the mat. And then we're going to roll onto our right side, face the left, and just find that core work. It's really obvious here. I want you to try your best to lift your hips and your rib cage. Yep, and then return to plank. Keep that lift. Don't get heavy in the center. Switch to the other side. Roll onto your left side. Face the right. See if you can get more lift from the center. I saw that, Carol. That was beautiful. And then return to plank and lower. Take it all the way down onto the belly. Inhale for cobra. Yes. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Movement is beautiful today. Right foot steps, stay on the left toes, high crescent lunge. Arms sweep high over your head. Let's lift that back heel. Yeah. Okay, hands are gonna go to the hips. Let's bend the back knee and bring that knee a little forward so you bend into your toes a little bit more. Now draw your tailbone down and lean back slightly. Can you feel where that work is? Knee is bent, back knee is bent. Go low, low, low. Lower than you think, almost on the mat. Yeah, go low. Now scoop the tailbone under, lean back. Take both arms up to the sky. Take one deep breath here. Now from that nice low position, can you straighten the back leg and bring the chest parallel to the ground? Notice the stability you get from the back leg. Keep reaching long through the left side, but sweep the right arm back behind you. Nice. Make sure the ribs and the belly are in. We need support here. And then the left hand goes down and we twist open to the right. Touching all the big spots. Root a little bit through your left hand. See if you can get a little more action out of the waist. And then when you're ready, just look down. Put your hand down, step to plank. Super easy. Lower down slow. Back to what you know. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, down dog. You might notice that the cobras are getting a little better. They're not as stiff or compressive, so you got to be patient with the body. Left foot steps up, stay on your right toes. The arms go up, we find our balance. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Separate your feet a little wider, not necessarily longer, but wider. And then hands come to the hips. I want your hands on your hips so you can feel what happens. Start bending that right knee. Come down low. Bring the knee a little forward. Bend your toes a lot. And then watch what happens when you draw the tailbone down. You can feel your whole pelvis shift. Now lean back just a little bit. Oh, we elongate the front of the right hip, maybe even into the quadriceps. Go ahead, widen the chest, lean back. And then the arms sweep up high to the sky. You got this. Take one more breath here. Feel it all. And then slow motion. Chest comes down, parallel to the ground. Back leg straightens. Everything elongates. And then we keep the right side even longer. Sweep the left arm back. So keep making the right side long. Push back through the heel. Reach forward through the hand. Yep. And then we root down through that right hand and twist to the left. Right hand down, twist open to the left side. See if you can get your left palm to face out to the left so the chest is open. Head back, turning from the rib cage. Make sure you're breathing. And then the eyes go down, the hand comes down. We're going to step back to plank and come back to what we know, lower, slow. Take it to the belly. Deliberate and mindful through cobra, honoring the flexibility of the spine, and then right back into downward facing dog. Okay. Let's take another breath here and make a little sound. Just like you have a little bit of a release of energy. So a big inhale and then a little sigh. It doesn't have to be dramatic, but just an open mouth, open the valve, let energy go. And then look forward. Let's walk our feet up to the top of the mat. I'm sure some heat is starting to build. Anyone feeling that? Lift halfway, then exhale, fold. Good. Bend your knees, sink your hips, chair pose. I see you. Push down through your feet. Let's rise. High to the sky. Stretch up and back. And then the hands come to heart. Again, inhale, arms reach. Drop the right arm down to the right side. Take a little side body stretch. Do it any way you like. Just feel into the side body. Create space. Remember that there's an inward action, pelvic floor, lower belly, creating stability, but then there's this expansion. So inner body feels toned, outer body feels expressive. Come back up to center. Switch to the other side. Left arm drops, right arm rises. Pull up and in from the center. See if you can feel that stability. That might give you more courage and more ability to actually make the stretch a little bit bigger. Feels funny that pulling in could make it bigger, but that stability gives you the ability to express. Come back up, both arms reach. Good. Hands by your sides. Inhale again, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Lift halfway on the inhale. Let's go to plank and lower on the exhale. It's amazing. People just keep coming in. I love it. Welcome, welcome. Move through that flow. Lower down slowly. Inhale through cobra. And then find your way to downward facing dog. Right foot steps up, left foot turns flat. Warrior one. Virabhadrasana one. Vira one. Root down through your feet. They have purpose. We face forward in warrior one. The chest plate forward, both arms reach. So how can you ground your feet and turn your torso a little bit more to the front of the mat? What muscles do you have to use? This is where you have to pay attention. There's nuance here. There's an internal rotation of the left leg. There's like a pulling against the tension on the left side. And it's not because we're being aggressive, it's because we're being patient. Now bend the right knee just a little bit more. Inhale, reach and lean back just a touch. There's the full expression of your pose. Exhale, take a flow. Let's see if we can find that on the other side. Step back and lower. Inhale for cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, and into warrior one on the left. That means left foot steps up, right foot turns flat. We have some new people today, so I want to make sure I give you the instructions and not assume that everybody knows. And we root down into the feet, and then we work in the present moment. What is happening in your body now? Do you feel your feet on the ground? Do you feel yourself reaching for the sky? Is there tension on the right side that you're working with? With time and with breath, do you feel it lengthen? Do you feel it ease? Keep pushing the right foot back, but pulling the right foot forward. That's it. Then reach up a little more, lengthen, maybe lean back a touch, not into this pressure in the lower back, but up and back, and then take a flow. Hands go down. Step back lightly, lower slowly. Moving and breathing, just the way yoga was designed. Inhale through cobra, exhale, downward facing dog. And then we'll look forward and walk our feet up to the top of the mat. Okay. Lift halfway, inhale. Fold deeply, exhale. Rise all the way up, flat back, arms reach. And then hands to heart center, please. Stay on your right leg, but lift your left knee. And then if you would, just open that knee wide to the side. So we're not going to do tree pose where you actually put the sole of your foot on your leg. This is a little more challenging. So you have to actually make the left foot a little more active. Flex the foot. Spread the toes. Feel the sole of your foot. And even though you're opening wide on the left side, you're pressing palms into the center. A little moment of presence. Focus. Okay. Take that left leg behind you. Just like making a little movement through the hip. Send the leg straight back. Push through the heel behind you. Lower your chest parallel to the ground. And then nice and slow, come back to standing, knee to belly. Squeeze it up high as you can. And then just gently put it down. Good. Balance matters. Let's stand into the left leg. Lift the right one. Feel that sense of integration in the core so that you can be more expressive with the outer form. So we got to keep feeling the middle as we start to press that right knee out wide to the side. Flex the foot so it still feels like it's part of what you're doing. All parts of you included in the action. We hold the head up. We still notice all of the things. If you focus your eyes on one thing, it makes it a lot easier so that we actually minimize the inputs. Then start to move that leg back and behind you, pushing back through the heel, extending through that leg, extending the head forward. And then nice and slow, bring that knee to the belly, squeeze it up high. Hands keep pressing gently, and then put your foot back down. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Good. Let's go to plank. Hold your plank pose. Roll onto your right side like you did before. Lift that left arm high. Now separate your left leg away from your right leg. Bend your knee and pull it up and out to the side. Knee to the sky. Knee to the sky. Think about it. Yep, keep that knee up. Flex your foot. You've got this. And then step that foot back. Come to plank and lower. Lay down onto your belly. Inhale for cobra. Let your brain wrap around that for a second. And then find your way back to downward facing dog. Got some beats this morning. Come forward into plank. Roll onto your left side. Face the right. Lift an arm and reach high up to the sky. And then right leg separates away from left leg. See if you can bend the knee and pull that knee up to the sky. Work with the hip. Reach high. Bend the knee like you want to put it in your armpit. Yep. And then step it back. Put your hand down and lower. Inhale for cobra. Exhale, down dog. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons that might have been challenging. Let's stay in down dog for a moment. Lift the right leg up behind you. And then staying in down dog, which means you're pushing back, do the opposite action and squeeze your right knee forward to your belly. Yeah, so keep pushing the hips back, but squeeze the knee forward. Now hold that, but lift your right knee out wide to the side. I just want you to start feeling what's going on in the glutes. We're developing a little bit of strength here. And now can you kick the right leg straight out to the side? So you have the knee out to the side, could you also kick the leg out to the side? Yeah, interesting, right? To notice that, my leg doesn't like moving like that, right? That's it. Go ahead, pull it back in. And then step it behind and across, outside of your left foot, and start walking your hands back. Your feet can be close together here. Feet are a little closer together here, and then you'll be legs crossed, ankles crossed in a forward fold. Say hello to your hamstrings. See if you can get both legs a little bit straighter and get the weight balance equally in both feet. Okay, so we're just in a forward fold. Left leg is in front of right leg. Yeah, no big drama there. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Let's walk the hands out into plank. Your legs will uncross as you approach the front of the mat. Go ahead, lower down nice and slow. Inhale for cobra. So funny how some of you react when something's not familiar. Exhale, downward facing dog. You're doing great. Just let the brain wrap around it. So left leg goes up high behind you. We keep pushing back, and then we squeeze the left knee into the belly. You can feel it. You're squeezing in but pushing back. It's like an opposite thing. Those actions are not so complementary, but they can merge and become one. Keep that knee bent nice and tight, but open it out to the left. Lift the knee high. Yeah, it's interesting, right? And if you can't get the knee high, it might just be the way your leg fits in your hip socket. And then see if you can straighten the left leg out to the left. Push out through the heel. Try to keep the weight even in your hands. Not your best moment of the practice, probably not your favorite moment. Pull the knee back in. And then go behind your right leg and step to the outside. Walk your hands back. Oh, it feels good to get off your hands, doesn't it? Make sure both feet go flat on the mat so you can stand in both feet. Manage how you're standing and the weight is distributed, the angles of the feet. See if you can straighten the legs a little, maybe square the hips a little bit. Head down and relax for a second. Breathe. Just feel it. Okay. On the next inhale, just lift halfway. Look forward. Walk your hands out into plank, and as you approach the front of the mat, uncross your ankles. Lower yourself down nice and slow. Inhale for cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. All right, right foot steps up to the hands. Let's keep the hands on the mat though. Both hands will move to the inside. And then let's put that left foot flat. So you have warrior one legs, but your hands are on the ground. See if you can bend your front knee a little deeper, get the hips a little lower. Can you square your hips here? So the foot is flat, but the leg is really lifted. The inseam of that left leg is lifted. Take one more breath there. And then start walking your hands a little forward like you're going to the left corner of your mat. So you go out a little bit, keep grounding the back leg, but elongate the pose just a little more. So both hands are on the inside and you're walking toward the left corner of the mat. Bend that front knee. So some of you have your hands going the wrong way. We're going this way. Yeah. Hands that way, toward the corner. Like walk up here. There you go. Yeah. Now you have to lift the pelvic floor there. Yeah. Let's walk the hands in, but continue to walk to your left so you end up down the long edge of the mat. Turn your right foot in. Good. Hands come to your hips. Rise with a flat back. All right. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, arms behind your back. Let's clasp the fingers together. Inhale, lift the chest. And then exhale, begin to fold. The head goes down. The legs are straight. Now, lift halfway to a flat back. And bend your right knee, working the inseam of the left leg. Got this. Keep the back flat, keep the gaze forward. So her head is not too low. Head is the same height as the hips. So don't dip into your flexibility here. Use your core strength. Lift your head. Head and tail are on the same plane. Then move up and over to the other side. Straighten the right, bend the left. Start to work the inseam of the right leg. There's a little bit of core integration here. Can't let the belly fall out here. And then find your way back to center. Hands release to the hips. And then we rise with a flat back. Okay. Inhale, arms reach. Just stay with me. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to walk our hands toward the back of the mat. Turn the left toes toward that short edge of the mat. And maybe turn the back heel out slightly. Keep the foot flat. It's that warrior stance with both hands on the inside. Go ahead and bend your left knee. Keep grounding the back foot. Hips are low. That's it. Now push a little extra in the pinky toe of that right foot and start walking your hands out past the right corner of your mat. Extend the body, reach out. The hands could be in front of you. It almost feels like down dog in the upper body and warrior one in the lower body. Imagine that? Yeah, make space. Back heel is flat, so the back foot is grounded. 2 more breaths. Don't go so far forward that you lose your back footing. So you guys, the hands are going to the right corner. So much makes more sense, doesn't it, in the body? Yeah. And the back heel is flat. Yep, you got it. All right, we'll walk the hands back in and walk all the way down that long edge of the mat. Turn the left toes in, and then draw your head down. Good. Inhale, lift halfway. Hands come to the hips, empty your lungs. rise with a flat back all the way up. Okay, now, if you're feeling young and playful, we're gonna hop our feet in, not all the way to the center, but like imagine just like 6 inches in, just like do a little hop. Yeah, so your feet are wider than your hips. Just a little wider than your hips. Some of you are still kind of wide and some of you are so narrow. Just a little wider than your own hip distance. Now lean into the right leg and lift the left leg out to the side. Flex the foot, push out through the heel. Keep your head back so that your body is still on one plane. There's something interesting that happens here. We lean forward and the leg goes behind us. So what I want you to do is bring the head back and bring the toes forward. Does everyone feel that in their left outer hip? Yeah. Okay, we're going to stay right there. Now maybe just for balance purposes, take your right arm and reach it straight out to the side. Now you can reach in 2 directions and hold the center. Good. And then bring the foot back down, bring the hand back into your waist. Let's try the other side. So go ahead, lift the other leg. Stand on your left, lift the right. Catch yourself if you are leaning forward and taking your leg behind you. See if you can straighten up. That means you're paying attention. So we're not leaning to the side, we're straight up. Straight up, yeah. It's so interesting how much more that works the hip. And then make sure you have a good push through that right heel and then start reaching your left arm out to the side. And I love how there's new fluctuations, there's new things to manage. That is how yoga works. Every day we surprise the body and the things that we can do. Go ahead, bring your hand in, put your foot down. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale and fold. From here, let's walk the hands to the top of the mat. Turn yourself and step back to plank. Not my best transition, but it'll do. Lower slowly. Inhale for cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, right foot steps up to the right hand. Rise up into high crescent, staying on the left toes. Let's bring the hands to heart center, lean forward into the right leg, float the left one behind you. Now imagine that your left leg, that you are going to lift it higher, bend the knee and pull the left knee to the left shoulder. Pull it out to the side. Keep it high, bend it, and pull left knee toward left shoulder. Pull it out to the side, not just behind you. It's coming forward, forward, forward. Can you feel that? Now come to standing and swing it out in front of you. That's big movement. What we're doing is actually doing this. It's just a big hip circle. See if you can make a few circles. Mine's clicking. Is yours clicking? Go the other direction. Challenge yourself. Eyes focus. Beautiful. Bring your feet together at the top of the mat. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Take a flow. Lift halfway. Inhale. Let's go to plank and lower. Cobra on the in-breath. Downward facing dog on the out-breath. And then a high crescent lunge left side. Left foot steps up. Stay on the right toes. Hands come to heart center. And then we lean a little forward, trusting that front leg and lifting the back leg. Now, from this place of balance, can you bend the right knee, take it out to the side wide, and imagine you are pulling the knee toward your shoulder. Yeah, you guys got it. It's not the prettiest thing we ever did, but it's interesting. We're using our body in a different way. Now, as you come to standing, keep it wide, but bring it forward. Find your balance, knee to belly. Good. Take the leg down and back, and then circle it around behind you. Hip circles. See if you can keep your hands in prayer. Couple circles in one direction, and then we switch to the other direction. Not so easy. but interesting, right? Dynamic movement and balance. High level of presence. Both feet on the ground. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Ooh, it's nice and shady over here. Inhale, lift halfway. Let's go to plank and lower. Inhale for cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, walk your hands back to your feet for Malasana. So our feet go a little wider. We turn our toes out. You want to go a little wider with your feet, so you might be able to get them a little flatter. And then just squat right down in there. Yep. Tailbone is down, head and chest are lifted. So there's lift here. Where if you've been in those hips, they should be a little more agreeable this morning. Now, push your elbows out a little bit into your knees, but then squeeze your knees into your elbows. And see if you can lift your pelvis. Can you get your hips to rise an inch or two? Yep, and then put them down. Yep, then go ahead, lift them a little higher. I see you. Go ahead, bring it down again. Pick it up. Pick it up. Feel the muscles that you're using to do that. And then go ahead, put it down. Let's place our hands in front of us. Hands on the mat. Your elbows are still pushing your knees. And your knees are still pushing your elbows. Oh, I just had a really rough time to just take a moment of silence, but I think we should. First in gratitude for the rescue team, and then in prayer for the person they're rushing to and their family. Alright, just respect. And then we'll get back to it. Hands on the mat. Squeeze those knees in. Lift your pelvis. Take a little weight into your hands. See if you can balance in crow pose, Bakasana. You got to look forward to do it. As you lean forward, you lift your feet behind you. Try to touch your toes together behind you. It completes that energy circle. It helps with the squeezing in on the legs. From Malasana. Yeah, squeezing in, lifting from the pelvis. You remember that feeling? Without that, you can't fly. And then release your feet back down and come into a forward fold. Straighten your legs. Sway a little side to side. Loosen up your spine. Loosen up your attitude. Breathe. Then we'll find center. Start to roll it up slowly. Nice. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, both arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Lift halfway, look forward, and then we're just going to walk forward enough to get the tabletop. So the hands go forward with the knees drop. Yeah. Go ahead, right arm forward, left leg back. So a bird dog for a moment, but with a little bit of movement. We reach out, we pull the belly to the spine. Make sure the ribs and the belly feel like they're lifting away from the mat. So if there's like a curve in your lumbar spine, see if you can flatten it just a little bit. And then inhale, reach a little more. Exhale, squeeze the elbow and the knee in under you. Keep the gaze forward so it's not a complete round and curl. Inhale, extend out. Exhale, squeeze it in. Keep the gaze forward so don't round and curl the neck. Inhale, extend out. The head doesn't change. Exhale, squeeze it in. Isolate core. One more time. Extend out. And then squeeze in. Hold. Pull it in a little tighter as you can. I know there's a little room there. Let them pass each other. If they're touching each other and you can't go anywhere, go past them. Squeeze tighter, tighter. Lift it in higher, higher. And then put it down. Child's pose. This is one of those moments where we get to check in instead of check out. Feel that heartbeat. Feel that heartbeat in your chest. Come back to your breath and your senses. Okay. No? Did I do right arm, left leg, right? What did we do on the last round? We did right arm, left leg. So lift the left leg. I want same leg, same leg. Good. So both hands on the ground. Both hands on the ground. And the left leg is the one that we're using. So we're not switching sides yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just the leg. Squeeze it into the belly. Good. Lift it out to the left. Kick it out straight to the left. Good. Bend it back in. Squeeze it back into the belly. Extend it out behind you. That's the pattern. Into the belly. Lift it with the knee bent. Extend it out to the side. Not so fast, right? It's not like woo, woo, woo. We're like taking our time, right? It's an in, it's an out, it's an extend, back in, and under. Do one more round. Pull it into the belly. Take it out to the side. Hold there. Extend the leg long. Keep it straight. But then start to swing it all the way behind you. Cross over to the right side and put your toes down off the mat on the right side. Yes. Push through that heel. Start looking over your right shoulder. And look for your foot behind you. Now, lifting that left hip or dropping the left hip might change the stretch. So you can kind of play with a little movement in that left hip. You could actually bend your whole waist to look over your shoulder and see it. How much is enough for you in this moment? Nice. Bring your head back to center. Bring your foot back to tabletop. Your knee back. Good. Now we switch sides. Left arm, right leg. So left arm, right leg. If your wrists are starting to feel tired, you can make fists, can go up on your knuckles so we have no more bend in the wrist. Extend out and lengthen, and then exhale, squeeze in tight. Inhale, extend out. Try to keep the integration of the core. We're going to do about 5. That was probably 2. Do it with your own breath. Try not to do it fast. Then you're counting on momentum rather than your muscles. That's it. Extend out, lengthen. You can feel the muscle actions. You can actually feel the nuance. Hold it out one more time. And then bring it down and into child's pose. Take a breath. I didn't intend that child's pose in between, but I think our arms and our wrists and our attitudes actually need it. So maybe turn your palms to face up. Give your forearms a little bit of a stretch. Make fists and then release. And then we'll come back to tabletop. Remember, same leg. So both hands stay on the ground. Right leg is going to extend out behind you. And then we pull that knee into the belly. Pull it in tight, tight, tight. Keep it bent, lift it out to the side. Just feel that. Hold that for a second. How does it feel when you kick it out straight now? Push through the heel. Then bend it again. Pull it back in. And we do it again. Lift. Out. Yep. Bring it back in. Yep. Working that outer hip. A few rounds on your own. And on the last one, we pull it into the belly. Lift it out to the side. Extend it long. Flex through the heel, and then big circle all the way back around you. Cross the left leg, go past the left edge of your mat, tuck your toes, push back through the heel, and then gaze over that left shoulder. Move the right hip around so that you can actually feel all of the nuance, right? All of the details. Sometimes I drop my hip, sometimes I lift my hip. It depends that day. Do I need to stretch the outside or the front? So I don't want to direct that, but I want to give you space to explore that. happy moment. Simple cross legs, any way that you can find stillness. So I know we're wiping off, we're grabbing water, we're fixing our mats, do all the things. And then see if you can settle for a moment. Now I know that in an open public setting, it doesn't always feel normal to close your eyes, but if it does feel okay, go ahead and close your eyes. Or just let the lids be heavy and look slightly down in front of you. Take it all in, 5 senses, into this moment with everything that it has to offer. There's almost the feeling of a cool breeze on the skin. Almost, right? Feel it. Listen to the birds, the music, your heartbeat, your breath, the texture and the firmness of the mat beneath you. Tuning into present time, being in what is right now. And what this moment represents for me sometimes is simply that when everything in life feels a little hairy and it feels a little crazy and over busy, that we can just stop for 2 minutes. We can be still and we can take it all in. We become witness to the crazy instead of being part of the crazy, right? And from there, we might proceed forward differently. Or we might just be grateful for the break and then we have to step right into the flow of all of it. But either way, this pause matters. This ability to tune back into our senses and get our presence. I think sometimes when there's overstimulation, we lose our senses, right? Find your sensitivity. Find your presence. It's always in there. Take one more long, slow, deep breath in. On the exhale, soften your posture, let your chin drop to your chest. Stay soft for a moment. And then I want you to unfold your legs, put your feet on the ground in front of you. Stay in that grounded form with the chin tucking and the tailbone under and the belly to the spine, and just really take your time and lay down onto your back. The slower you go, the more purposeful it will be. And once you get there, put your feet together, let your knees drop open, take your arms up over your head, relax deep in the joints. More breaths, just like that. And draw your knees back up and draw your arms back down. Let's cross the right ankle onto the left knee. Just right ankle on the knee and then draw the left leg into the body. to reclining pigeon. And if your hip or your knee say no to pulling the left leg in, just keep the left foot on the ground and just keep the form. Take it all in. The left leg is bent, the left leg is soft. Yeah, just let it be. Give yourself one more squeeze. And then release it. Put it back down. Let's uncross and recross to the other side. We did a lot of work lifting that leg out to the side. So right there on the outside of the hip, you should be enjoying a really nice stretch. And you decide how much is enough. You can squeeze it in or not. Just give the tissue a chance to soften and just be really present for it. Try not to overdo, just feel. You are the steward of your body. How well can we take care of it? And go ahead and release and put that right foot down, put the left foot down. And then both knees come up and into the belly, let the arms go out like a T. And we'll take a twist to the right side. The winding down is similar from practice to practice because we really want to just reset the form. We want to allow things to adjust. We want to soften any place that may have hardened. You can feel the breath moving a little bit closer to the spine. So that place that we were like pulling up and in. See if you can soften the ribs, soften the belly, and just let there be a little bit movement deeper inside the body. Draw the knees into the belly, returning through the center and over to the other side. Again, just bringing out the tension, softening where you can. Think back to those moments where you were struggling, to those moments in the practice where things were hard and you were wondering when I was going to let you out. And then look at the ease that has come over you now. And shift gears quickly. Every day we are honing our skills. Bring it back to the center. If you need to, give yourself one last squeeze and then release your arms and your legs for just a few moments. Just lay it out. Lay your head down. Lay your legs out. Instead of just softening the spine, we soften everything. Come to the stillness with an appreciation for how the world will continue to move around us. Well, the car is still driving, the landscaper's working, pedestrians walking, businesses opening, it's all happening all around us. And yet, we right here in the stillness together cultivating our peace and quiet, our presence and our connection to right now with everything that it has to offer. Looks like we have Duncan watching, and Amy, there's a couple others on here, Janine, Karen Garbs and Karen Rosenberg, Michelle, Tanis, Pam, so many, Lainey, I knew that you'd be here, Asia, Yafit, how beautiful, Jody, Prochi, even Andy's watching. We got Margot. Thank you all for being there. And go ahead, let's just start to pull it together. I mean, there's just so much going on. Let's just join it. So we start to breathe and stretch and move. We got the train, we got the traffic, we got it all. This is our life, this is our day. What a beautiful space we have to practice. And so one breath at a time, one movement at a time, we return to seated. How are we? You okay? A little moist. Maybe not at home. Hopefully you're outside somewhere beautiful. I know some of you are not even in the Boca area. All right. So we sit up tall. I'm just going to wait to home until the train went by. I think what I'm going to do instead is have you put your left hand on your heart, push your right hand on your leg, close your eyes and sit up tall and just be in it, in this moment exactly as it is. All of the sounds. This is the moment where we move away from our practice and into our day. And my hope is that we can maintain that presence. That feeling of right now. And as you go on to the next thing and then the next thing, will you remember to pause and just stop in the middle of all of it, take a couple of breaths and just notice how you feel. Step back from it all and just see it as the witness. And then decide how you want to step back into that flow. All that yoga ever really asks of us is that we're paying attention. And sometimes that's hard to do when we are not oriented in our senses or in present time. So may we all take this lesson from the mat. May we take this precious information that has been passed down verbally for thousands of years, generation to generation to generation, and may we live it fully. Each and every one of us. Take a long, slow, deep breath in. Let out a little sigh. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Peace, Peace, Perfect Peace. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free. May the actions of my life and all of our lives somehow contribute to that happiness and that freedom for all. May we all know peace, peace, perfect peace. Namaste, my friends. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you